everyone. This is the VN Talks. I'm Tala.
I'm Cata.
And I'm Marga.
Today we have a nice episode for you guys in honor of Olympic season. We're going to talk about Olympic controversies, which Cata and Marga are very, very passionate about. They talked about it for like
As everyone should.
As everyone should, yes.
Yeah. Watch the Olympics, guys.
Yeah, watch the Olympics.
No, actually, now, like, you will see more, like, if you are, like, on TikTok, you will see that, like, on your feed, there are gonna be, like, a lot of Olympic things, like, a lot of Olympic athletes in the villa showing all their sports and stuff. And the reason is because the Olympic Games want to start approaching more young people. So I think this is a good way for a lot of us that don't know, like, a lot about the Olympics to, like, get a little bit of a taste of it. Like, really, the Olympic Games are suffering a lot economically in a lot of ways. But one of the main things is that a lot of the people now that go to the events, well, not this year, but usually elderly people. And the Olympic Games is like, well, the people that are seeing this thing is dying. So we need new generations. So
yeah, so the Olympic Games asked us to host an episode on it.
Yeah.
I would love that.
But actually, no.
Olympic
This is not monetized. So please, you can buy us a copy.
No, but tag them.
We don't get any money out of this. Olympics, if you want to sponsor this, you're in time. Anyways, Tala, you were introducing the episode.
So you guys go ahead. Honestly, start off.
I think we more or less know what this is gonna be about. So yes, the Olympics, but we're kind of showing another side of the Olympics too. We're gonna kind of introduce the Olympics and talk about their history and some of the things that we know, sports that we know there are at the Olympics. But we're also going to talk about some dirty things, the dark side of the Olympics as well.
The dark side of the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, this year and not only this year. But just to get a bit into the mood of the Olympics and the Olympic controversies that we're going to cover today, we're going to start with our icebreaker, which I'm going to lead today. It is going to be a quiz, an Olympic quiz.
I'm going to fail.
And you're definitely going to fail, or maybe not, because it's like a test with options. So there are only 4 possible answers for each question. It like you've got.
There should be 5 because of the 5 rings.
Okay, Cata, next time say that before the episode, okay? Because I did not think about that. I don't have such a cosmic brain. Okay, I did my best. Okay, so I'm gonna just ask questions, give you 4 options, and you can tell me what do you think. It's a bit about like curiosities, controversies, and just general facts about the Olympics. Then we'll get into a lot more social issues and actual controversies once we start with the episode. So this is going to be quick because it's not as much in controversies, just a bit to get into the mood, into the Olympic mood. Yeah, exactly.
Should we buzz? Should we be like, hey, or I don't know.
What do you want your partner to be like?
Tell us gonna be your buzzer
about it.
Should I get a buzzer? I don't think.
Yeah.
You need a buzzer. You need a buzzer.
I need a buzzer.
This is a competition.
No, just like say something. Mine is gonna be.
Oh. Poop.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks God this is not a competition already. Okay. Let's start then. Okay. So we're gonna start with a bit of context of one thing that we really like in VN Talks, that's talking about women. So let's start by saying, did you know that women have been allowed to compete in the Olympics since the 1900s? So that is like the first year in which we actually had Olympic female athletes. But in those first modern Olympics that we are talking about, we're saying, okay, they were allowed, we started having women athletes, whatever, but let's be honest, there was still a lot to be done. So even though they could participate since 1900s, what were the first Olympics in which all participating countries sent female athletes? Because since the 1900s, they could participate, but many countries did not want to send women to their sports. So where were the first Olympics in which all the participating countries did send female athletes?
Like, are you
Was
talking
it
about how it was
Athens?
equal? Oh,
How
sorry.
it was no how at least
Sure.
like countries, at least all countries sent
Can
at
we have
least
the
one
options?
female athlete. Yes. So the options are Athens 2004,
Mhm.
Beijing 2008, London 2012, or Rio 2016. So
I
all
was
of them
like,
relatively close to us. Like
yeah, and actually, I was actually gonna say, like, without the options, I was gonna say Tokyo 2020 plus one, because today, like, while I was seeing like the little
Yeah, they're
parade,
gender
like there
equal.
there
Like,
were some no, but there were some like teams, like countries that only male like walked through it. So I was actually gonna say this once,
no, but wait, can I
but
answer?
no, these ones
go.
are actually
Good
gonna be
buzzer.
the first like okay, awesome. Okay,
I
I'll shut
say
up.
Rio. Is it Rio?
What is okay? Should we have like two answers and then reveal, or just
Do
Okay,
you want me
yes.
to answer? I was gonna say B.
That's-
I was gonna say Athens because I think I've heard something about it, but I'm not sure.
okay? So the first Olympics in which all participating countries sent female athletes, so all participating countries sent at least one woman in their team. London 2012.
Oh, so
Oh
we're
my
both
god.
wrong.
That's
We're both
so
wrong.
late.
That's
So
late.
late.
When you said
Okay.
Athens 2004, I was like, the fuck? It took that long? What
It
the
took
hell?
even longer. Yeah.
I
God,
think
that's
the worst
crazy.
part is that like until this year, like today in the inauguration, until this year they changed the Olympic bow, I think it's called. And it's
Mhm.
the first time and they changed it for the words to be include like gender equality and I don't know something else, but about equality. It's the first time that we're talking about equality in the Olympic Games. Before that,
Wow.
like not even the numbers, like even though like there are more sports that are only for women, like there's like I think synchronized swimming, it's only for women. There's still more male athletes in the Olympic Games,
Yeah.
so I think
I
it's
think
crazy.
these are like the Tokyo ones are the first like gender equal ones at least
Yeah,
in
the
number of
for the
athletes.
flag, for the
But
flag thing, it was they had to be a man and a woman, like it was
yeah,
mandatory.
it was it's more gender equal, but God, there's still a lot to be
There's
done.
still a lot
Yeah,
to be done, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
so
Mm,
crazy.
And for
yeah.
people to
Okay.
say like we're still equal, shut the fuck up. Sorry, guys, I curse a lot.
You know, when we
Yeah.
said that this podcast was clean, I think
It's not
we might
clean.
have screwed up.
It's not clean.
Uh,
Yeah.
Anyway,
And it's not clean because
Anyways,
of me.
question 2.
question
Okay. So, do you know, girls, that the Olympics were not always just about sports? So, I'm going to give you 4 options, and you're going to have to tell me what do you think was done at the Olympics apart from it being a sport competition. So, were the Olympics, the Olympic competition, the sports competition, and simultaneously a diverse dancing competition? Was
Oh,
it
I
at the
know this
same
answer.
time an
Beep, it's
intellectual
that one.
competition, with chess and draughts as well? Was it as well an artistic competition with painting, writing, and music categories? Or was it as well a summit for political purposes at the same time the Olympic Games were being held? So,
Peep,
Wait,
4
beep,
options:
poop,
dancing
peep,
competition, intellectual competition, artistic competition, summit for political
poop,
purposes.
poop.
peep, peep. I said peep first.
Okay, you say.
Okay, Canta.
I, if I'm not wrong, like I think all of the answers could be right, but if I'm not wrong, it's a dancing competition because I know someone that went to the Olympic Games in 2008 in Beijing, but they went for representing Colombia for dancing because they told me about this that simultaneously they had the dancing things. So I'm pretty sure dancing was one of them, but I don't know if like something else additionally happens, and
Okay.
that could be.
I think,
Okay.
honestly, I think yours is right, Kata, but I'm gonna go with the IR mind. Okay, because I honestly think it might be a possibility. Like, I wouldn't even be shocked. Like, it was a political summit because, like, everyone represents their own country, you know? And it could be like for political interests and stuff. So I'm gonna say the fourth option.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Okay, so the correct answer is artistic competition.
Well, dancing
So,
is there.
I mean, what I said is like a diverse dancing competition. I mean, there are like kind of dancing related sports that are included, but it is not a dancing competition. But
Okay.
it was an artistic competition as well as a sports competition. As artists back in the day, in between 1912 and 1948,
that was a long time ago.
when they could, like, for that span of years, they could win medals for disciplines as painting, sculpting, writing,
That's so cool.
making music, etc. It was also a musical artistic competition as well as a sports competition.
So I have to research about I have to fact check. No, but I'm pretty sure because I know that they went, like, it was a really important company, like this, like musical theater company that I know, that went to represent Colombia 2008 for dancing simultaneously to the Olympic Games. So I have to research what that thing about, if it's going on still, but I'm pretty sure dancing is still on.
It might, but I mean, I don't know if the dancing competition is like linked to it or not. But in this case, it was the artistic competition that we were talking about. Okay. So in our new Olympics now, 2020, 2021 Olympics, +1 Olympics for Tokyo, they have added new sports. Now we don't have art anymore, but we still have new sports. Yeah. So I've got 5 options of sports that could have been added. Oh, look, 5. The 5 rings. Now in this one I have 5 options. Okay. So you're gonna have to tell me which one of these 5 sports has not been added to the Tokyo Olympics. Okay. Therefore, the 5 options, there are 4 correct options and 1 incorrect option. So the 5 options are skateboarding, surfing, solo synchronized swimming, sport climbing, and karate.
Beep.
Okay. Go ahead.
Solo synchronized swimming. I saw a documentary on the sports that were included, so I know which ones are. So it's solo synchronized swimming.
But wait, skateboarding is in there?
It's skateboarding.
We've got skateboarding, sport climbing, solo synchronized swimming, surfing, and karate.
Where would
okay, go Tala. Which one do you think it's not?
Bro, I think all of them. What the fuck?
Okay, so I
mean, karate doesn't sound that not normal for Olympics.
Karate, never mind. No, that seems reasonable. But surfing and skateboarding is just fishy.
No, they are. So here's the thing.
Swimming seems like reasonable too. But skating, no, surfing? Where would they surf?
You know the ocean?
What ocean?
You know Japan? It's a freaking island. It's
an island. Our students
is a bit off today.
And you know the next Olympic Games are in France. France also has ocean. And the next ones are in Los Angeles. There's also an ocean next to Los Angeles.
Okay, Cata, stop exposing me right now. What is the right answer, Marga?
The right answer is solo synchronized swimming. So in 1984, in Los Angeles Games, we had it for the first time. But some years later, after it was also like in the Seoul Games, and for the last time in the Barcelona Olympics in 1992, they decided to remove it because it didn't make a lot of sense to have just one person synchronizing with who. So it was like they decided like it made no sense. Although it was like really cute to see a guy just going up and down by himself, but they were like, you know what? Let's just keep it a team sport. So the last time we saw it was in 1992 in Barcelona, and now it's just a team sport.
Wow. And this is also the last year we're gonna see karate. So the thing about it, it's that
it comes and it goes.
Yeah, no, it's really sad. No, it's actually really sad because the thing about including the Olympic sports, when I tell you, I saw a documentary on this. I cried my ass out. It was a great documentary. So basically what happens is that now the rule, because before the rule was in order for a sport to come in, a sport has to come out. But now what we're doing is that every city and every country is going to decide which sport is going to be good, like going to be attract people, tourism in the specific country. So two sports that are coming back this year are karate and baseball, because baseball is like huge in Japan. But the thing about Paris 2024, people don't really want to see karate. People don't want to see baseball. So they're only having it for 1 year and it's not coming back. The thing about surfing, it's skateboarding, and rock climbing. It's been a fight for over, I think, the first time they tried to include it in the Olympic Games was in 1990s. And it's been a fight for a lot of years. And the thing about the reason why they want to include it is because it's a sports that are really appealing to the youth. Because let's say the X Games, like everyone watches the X Games when they see like skateboarding. Like literally, I'm dying to see Sky Brown, this 30-year-old girl from Great Britain, be one of the youngest medalists ever. I'm so like literally, I've been like counting
manifesting manifesting that she's gonna be the youngest medalist.
She just won gold in the X Games against the people she's gonna compete in the Olympic Games. So like it's the thing about that, and like surfing is also like really important. Like anything, they said that the father of surfing in 1918, I think he said that surfing should be an Olympic sport, and it took over 100 years for it to become an Olympic sport. It was a really beautiful documentary. It's on the Olympic Channel. You should go watch it if you want. I cried.
Okay, now we've got a documentary recommendation here today.
Yes.
Anyway,
okay.
Are there more questions?
One last one. And we move on and we start with our controversies.
I love how
this is not a controversy.
Are always like 40 minutes.
The entire episode. We're gonna start the episode with the episode, and then we'll just have the icebreaker in the end. This is not sustainable.
Literally.
Okay. So there was an American athlete called Johnny Weissmuller. He was a swimmer, and he represented the U.S. at the Olympics in 1924 in Paris. He won like 3 individual gold medals for swimming. He also like competed with his team and got the silver. Then in the next Olympics, he got other 2 gold medals as well. So he was a really nice swimmer. But something happened. Of course, a sportsman and sportswomen, they cannot just be in the Olympics for their entire lives. Of course, they're every 4 years. They take a lot of preparation, but they cannot like endure it for their entire lives because it's a really hard lifestyle. And at some point, they all like retire, at least from the Olympics, even if they continue maybe in the world of sport for a bit. But Johnny Weissmuller decided that instead of continuing in the world of sport, once he left the Olympics, he wanted to be something else. So let's see what 4 options of what Johnny Weissmuller became after he decided not to be a sportsman anymore. Did he become a country singer? Did he become a tailor for celebrities, like a designer and tailor for celebrities and their costumes, for example, for galas? Did he become an actor and played Tarzan? Or did Tala's face? Or did he become
no idea.
Or did he become a tourist guide at his local at like his locality back in the United States? So
what was the second option again? Wait,
what what are your thoughts? Did he become like a tailor, a designer for celebrities? Did he become an actor and he started playing Tarzan? Did he...
I'm gonna say the actor one. I don't know why. You were very specific with that one.
I think he became a tourist guide because that's something.
Tourist guide of his locality.
No, but like when you said a tourist guide, the first thing I was like about a museum about himself.
Yeah, an egocentric tourist guide. He become an egocentric tourist guide. Or so those are the options. Okay, so you think he's a tourist guide, Cata?
Tala said that he's gonna be an actor, so I think that's a good segment.
I think actor, and because you're just very specific with the movie,
About Tarzan.
honestly, and like it would kind of be sad if he
Is-
became a tailor after literally I don't know. Am I being judgmental?
Maybe
Maybe.
maybe
But like,
we want to say sorry to tailors. Your
like
your job is not.
We know what Tala is not gonna be after she retires from IR. She's not gonna be a
Not a
tailor.
tailor.
You should not come to her if you want your like some sewing
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
No,
not
but
your
I feel like-
design.
does this guy have like
He
the
could have
passion?
talent for that. He was a swimmer. Maybe he sewed his own swimsuits. How would you know? Is that is that your last answer?
Honestly, I don't care.
Okay, last answers. Cata,
He's gonna be a tourist.
tourist
No, no,
guide.
no. A tourist guide is more sad than the tailor. Let me tell you that.
He's insulting people's jobs.
I don't care. That's
Dude.
a good job.
I think I will be a tourist guide. And Tana's gonna be really disappointed.
Literally.
Tala's gonna hate me.
No, but
literally.
like Bogota is so pretty. I could be a tourist guide like around.
Yours is
Exactly.
town.
pretty, but like
But-
the fuck? I'm like,
What if
spending
Johnny
my
was
time and
Miller
energy-
wanted to show his
You get
city?
so much money, like especially if you do like tours, like
But-
the
but,
guides.
what
Like if you do it in English, you
what
get
if-
amazing tips.
but
And
what
it's
if
so
things
easy to just
happen-
you just bullshit. You just bullshit the
but
story of the
Kata-
town.
Kata, what if global things happen like COVID? You know, when COVID hit, tourist guide went to shit. They lost all their money.
Online,
Girlie, but
trips.
Colombia's
Like-
already open. People are coming
You
here
need to
for
find a job
tourism.
that you need to find a job that no matter what you are good to
But
go.
like I'm tailing that for like after I retire, like this guy. He
Okay,
retired
why are
from
we
sailing.
talking about jobs? We're supposed to talk about Olympics. Marga, what is that?
Okay, so what did okay? So your last answers are tourist guide.
An actor.
Okay,
I
tourist
still
guide
think he's
actor.
an actor.
Okay, so Johnny Weissmuller later on, after he decided he wanted to swim no more, he turned into an actor and played Tarzan 12 times in the cinema. 12 fucking times he
I
was
was right.
Tarzan.
I was right because it just seems like
It's
guys-
like it actually. I said the tourist guide because you said an actor.
honestly, it just seems like, and his name Johnny seems like an actor name. I don't know why, guys. I'm amazing at this. I got one answer right. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, who won then? So 1 point for you in this one, 1 point for Guts in the other one,
Tie. So
No
tie.
one.
Wow.
and there, no one there. 1-1. Wow. Just
Okay,
because no host is better than the other. We're equal.
we are equal.
Equal.
This is
like,
all about love.
but
and
not like the
equality.
Olympic.
Not like the Olympics, but we are. The thevntalkspodcast are equal.
That's funny.
Okay. Like okay, but before we start going in a deep dive, like I do have a question. Like, are the Olympic Games big in your respective countries? Because like I know like in Colombia, like we are really big on the sports. We just like it. Like we're just like really competitive on that point. But I think the reason why it's because we don't have a lot of athletes. So the ones that we have, we're like support. We're like, you are the best thing ever that we had. So and like we do have a couple like girls that like are probably returning for like reclaiming their gold medals that they won like in the past Olympics. So I'm really excited to see that. But
Wow.
like that's the thing, like I don't see like a lot of sports for the Olympic Games aside from like the ones that Colombia's in and like probably one or two more because
I
it's
watched
like
them all.
really important.
I watched them all.
So what about Spain culture? Is it big?
It's big. It's big. I'll be honest. We tried to be. We were like in candidates to be the ones, like Madrid, another city I don't remember right now, and Tokyo were the candidates. The last 3 candidates for the 2020 Olympics.
Like 20
And-
years ago?
Like, yeah, and we lost. So yeah, but you see, because we were manifesting that the pandemic was coming, we said, okay, we'll leave it for later, you know. But yes, it's a big thing. I mean, of course, it depends on whether you like it or not, and
Yeah.
people are normally not as crazy as I am, and they don't watch every single sport that
Sport.
exists. I just literally have the TV on and I watch everything that's on there. There are no Spaniards.
that's
I don't
me.
care. I watch it. So it's like, of course, it really goes like it's on a case-to-case basis, I guess, because some people like them, some people don't really care. But in general, there is a bit of an Olympics culture because we kind of feel really united by sports.
Yeah,
Spain, like
same.
politically, for example, we're really like fragmented in many
Yeah.
ways, and we have so many
Sports
fights and
unite.
so many controversies. But when the Spanish football team plays, God, we're a nation. When we're in the Olympics and we're seeing Rafa Nadal play tennis, God, we are a nation. Like it's like I cannot explain. We're a nation. I cannot explain it. We hate each other so much.
Guys,
but then August every 4 year comes and we are a nation.
Oh my God. Please someone go to YouTube and watch Marga. We are a nation. We are a nation.
Yeah.
We are a nation.
It's weird.
I had $1 for every time
Stronger together. That's the official hashtag of the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's the Spanish attitude with the Olympic Games, but not for real. Especially with some sports, we are a nation. Especially with like tennis, with soccer, football, however you want to call it. I don't care. We are a nation. It's basketball. I love watching basketball. I feel part of the nation.
This has to be a clip. This has to be a clip on our Instagram. This is so funny. We are a nation.
Okay.
We are a nation.
Yeah, here when we receive, I think one of the most beautiful things is when we receive the athletes. Probably this year's not gonna happen, but like there's a big parade for the athletes. Like, we don't care, you didn't win. Congrats, you didn't face it, because they're like 20 athletes. Like honestly, they're not like, I think we have, I don't know how many we have this year, but like I remember coming back from the 2012 because it was the first time, like I think in a long time that we got gold. We only had like 2 goals.
So, we normally have like a few.
Yes. So like we barely get goals. We're getting there. We're improving.
But I'm so proud when I see it. It's like you look at the ranking and Spain is like 27. I'm like, yes. Even if it were like 48, I'd be like, yes, yes. Like, and then I look at Russia and China, and they're all up there with like 100 gold medals.
We have 3.
This is why I think it's still a political summit. Like for sure.
But what about Jordan, Tala?
Honestly,
but they went though.
Don't hate on me, Olympic Jordanian lovers. That's funny. No.
I have a night with my host, Olympic lovers.
No. But like in the past years, Jordan really hadn't had like a lot of players, but this year specifically, it's had a lot of players, like, especially people my age and 1 year older than me. Like I know, like my friend's older brother, he's 1 year older than us. He's going competing in swimming. He's a very professional swimmer, always competed in swimming, and he's very good at it. And there's also another girl who I just heard about. I don't know her. She's from another school. She is competing in running, and there are many other Jordanians that are competing. So like it's really cool to see. Like I remember I saw a clip of the opening ceremony yesterday, and I saw like all the Jordanians coming out with their flag and like the shmaz, and it's like the Jordanian scarf.
I missed the Jordanian one. I literally saw the 205 nations, but I slept through some of them, so I think I slept through Jordan, and I think I slept through Spain as well. I didn't see Spain.
Of course you didn't.
I was so tired.
You live in Spain.
But I did see Colombia. They were so pretty.
No, but it's really cool to see.
Don't come back.
It's really cool to see like people that I know.
You touch Spain in the Olympics? We'll talk.
But it's really cool to see people I know competing. Like
that's right.
It's thrilling, But yeah.
Wow.
I think probably if the Olympic Games were like admitting people, your friends, like your like group of friends probably would be traveling to like maybe like support and stuff.
Yeah.
Like part of the comedian stuff. That would be really cool. I was gonna be volunteer this year. Like I was supposed to be in Tokyo.
That's so cool.
I was supposed to be in Tokyo.
Cool. That is so cool.
Let's do Paris 2024.
Oh, I'm for sure doing Paris 2024.
After graduation, we go volunteer at the Olympics.
Guys, I'm so down. Let's go to Paris.
I'm down to go to Paris anytime.
I just hope they won't be, discriminating.
Tala. God,
I had to put it out there.
Next topic. With next topic.
Anyway, Marga, you have prepared something for us.
Guys, let me clarify. Love Paris. Love French people. Mwah. It's just some of them are a bit racist and Islamophobic. I have to put it out there. Come on, guys. Come on.
As someone that was in France for a month, I have no.
Obviously, like, what are they gonna say on you? You literally look like them, okay? I literally look Arab.
I look like such a tourist. People are like, "Bitch, get away from me."
Look like that.
But like they banned the hijab and like because
that's
anyways,
so
we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So for today's episode, we all like prepared sort of like some controversies that are like probably like not close to us, but that we feel like very like attached to. Like, this for me, like one of my favorite sports, watching the Olympic Games, is gymnastics. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. But Marga is gonna start because she's gonna have some controversies about the 2020 plus one Olympics. So I'll hand it to her. Marga, go.
Okay. So what I knew, I wanted to do a lot of research about was a bit this story that, more like the history of the Olympics when it comes to equality, to gender equality, and women versus men, and like the figures and how we have been treated, like the female gender has been treated during the years. So of course, up to this day, we know that we've had like less women than we've had men in the Olympics competing, and as part of the stuff, as part of everything that relates to the Olympics. And of course, the stigma around women and sport still exists, and it does, even if now we're going to be talking about how Tokyo is the first kind of gender equal Olympics. We have said it already, there's so much to be done still. And the fact that now we're like equal in numbers, some people are like, oh, you got what you wanted, right? A gender equal Olympics. Well, no, this is not the only thing that we need. We do not just need equality in numbers. We need equality in every sense. We need to have the same that you have because you're privileged because of your gender, and we are not. So of course, we have figures, we have lots of facts that I can spill. But of course, what I'm going to give is a bit of an overview of what it has been for women at the Olympics, for athletes, especially in the past years, and how, of course, now Tokyo, gender equal Olympics, maybe we're going to see like a big contrast, right? And in comparison to what I'm going to say now about the history of women in the Olympics. Well, yes, in some aspects, and no in some others, because there's still so much to be done. And we have had a really heartbreaking case of rape that has been said to happen in Tokyo. So let's just get into this, and maybe we'll find out that although of course we've come a long way since the Olympics in the 1900s first accepted women being athletes in this competition, there's still a lot to be done. And even if you have the same number of women and men, you still don't have the same number of rights for women and men. So let's just start by saying, so as I said, women were accepted to compete in the Olympics in the 1900s. So it's true, as I said in our quiz, it was not until 2012 Summer Olympics, the ones in London, that all the participating countries sent at least one woman as an athlete, which is crazy, because the first modern Olympics, since we had like this kind of 1,500 years of not having Olympics, since like the ancient ones and the modern ones that started in 1896, I believe, in Athens, and we kind of got the tradition again. We had this first modern Olympics. This first modern Olympics in 1896, they had no women. Then in the 1900s, with the ones in London, we did have women finally, but of course, what happened was that not London, sorry, Paris. The ones in the 1900s were the ones in Paris. We had women, but of course, it was not from then until London 2012 that we had all countries sending their women as part of their teams. So that is exactly 112 years since we finally,
it's such a long time.
We finally got that. We finally got every country to send a female athlete. And is it because there's no talent among women when it comes to sport? No, that's not it. Yeah, sure. No, that's not it. And if they were sent, it would be sent just for certain sports that are thought to be feminine enough or not too masculine for them to be good at. So, I mean, Cata is getting a lot more into that. But of course, what I have to tell you is that women, when they finally were allowed to get into the Olympics, they showed the world that they were worth being there. So it was not about the lack of talent. It was about the lack of equality.
Yeah.
So in Paris 1900s, it was the first time that a woman was featured in the games in the category of sailing. And we had this woman called Helen de Portales. She was a Swiss American born but Swiss woman that won the gold, and she was the first female Olympics champion as part of the team to win that sailing event. No one else had. Then we also had Charlotte Cooper in those Olympics. That was the first female to win an individual Olympic event. So it was the women's single tennis competition. Tennis, in which when we hear about tennis all the time,
it's very male dominated.
We're always hearing about the same names. We always hear, and I remember this one interview that is so famous when they asked Andy Murray, like, how do you feel you're the first ever that has won like
two gold medals? I saw that
a single gold medal in tennis. How are you feeling? And he was like, I think like Serena and Venus have like won like
Venus had done
and Venus have won like 4 each already. 4 each already.
He was like, shut up.
So it's not about lack of talent. It's not about tennis being a male sport. It's about you ignoring us. It's about us not being equal to men. And of course, we've come a long way.
Something?
Yeah, of course.
Can I say something real small? That when you were saying about like women just being on display for like earlier Olympic Games, I remember that when I was studying this documentary about the new sports, I remember I took a screenshot of it, and one thing that they said about that I have it here, it says the Olympic Games in 1896 by the father of the modern Olympic Games. He said it was a display of manly virtue, and the award was the polite applause of women. That was the first like the vision of the Olympic Games until the 1900s and probably farther on. So women were the award.
And like the ones that were 4 years before the 1900s, right? The first modern Olympics. Define that as modern. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That was like 4 years before. Yeah. Amazing. Wow. A lot to change in society, you guys. But you would think, of course, we've come a long way, right? In Tokyo 2020 plus one, first gender equal Olympics, we're sure doing better. Well, the rape case of a 30-year man from Uzbekistan that has been arrested because it's been it's suspected that he has raped a woman at the Japan National Stadium. Well, that kind of makes you think maybe we have not come that far. Maybe. Only maybe. It was literally hours ago. It was on Friday evening, July the 16th, that this news came out. And it was said that this man had allegedly raped a woman, like a 30-year-old man had raped a woman in the stadium, in the literal stadium in Japan, in the national stadium. One of the venues for the Olympics, a place where you would think she could find herself, like, of course, like What do you think about the Olympics? A place that is protected, full of guards, full
Yeah,
of
it's like
police,
safe.
lots of security, right? Well, in a stadium, this woman has been raped. And of course, the headlines say like allegedly, because of course a woman that has been raped,
don't believe victims.
she's a liar. She's a liar until he is proven to be guilty. He's innocent, and because she is a liar, and that's what we've been seeing for the headlines of this man that did what he did and raped this woman literally the other day in this first gender equal Olympics. Well, being gender equal in number when it comes to athletes, yeah, maybe it's something to clap for some minutes about. But now let's go back to the real world. We are not equal, not in sports, not anywhere. So, and we're gonna keep seeing that. So Cata has some tea to tell us about how. I mean, we've seen this poor one that has nothing to do with the athletes and has been raped there. But God, female athletes, they go through really tough things as well. And Kata's going to tell us about how toxic some of these sports can be for them.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if Tala, you want to say, I think you were like saying something. I don't want to.
You go.
Oh, okay.
She's enjoying the team.
Literally.
I'm gonna give you like a little warning right now. I'm gonna be talking about sexual assault. And so it could be triggering for some people. So like, this is your like warning. I will say when the warning is off, and I will probably try to put the timestamps on YouTube. I'll try. So I'm going to talk about gymnastics. Gymnastics, it's probably one of my favorite sports to watch. I was never a gymnast, but I really wish I could. I think it's so fun just to see like these girls, especially the girls. The guys, like, but the girls, they like literally fly and they're amazing. I think they just defy gravity. And the thing about this, and I think the thing I like the most about gymnastics is that it gives so much power to women. The thing, like, when you're jumping, where you're like doing the balls, when you're like on the balance beam, you're so powerful. And the athletes themselves say it. Like, people say it's what it's like to fly, but they like what it's like to have power. And it's so amazing for them. And gymnastics, it's one of the most viewed sports, and it's the female one, not the male. The female category for gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, is one of the most seen in the Olympic Games. And I think it's really amazing for them. Like, it should be seen. But the one thing that we don't see behind the scenes is something that happened for over 20 years in the USA Olympic team for gymnastics. So there was this man. Fuck this guy. His name is called. He's Larry Nassar. He was the Olympic team doctor.
Oh,
when you think about a doctor,
oh no.
When you know about a doctor, you know, like,
the whole trial.
I don't know. So
that was.
I saw the whole trial. I've cried the whole thing.
I saw the whole trial. I remember.
Yeah, and this man.
Okay.
So for over 20 years, he had access to over 250 girls. He allegedly and actually raped and sexually assaulted 250 girls over 20 years. He was the Olympic doctor for the Team USA and the women's division. He was also the team doctor for Michigan State University. And he also really liked to coach and help in his high school, in the local high school and in local gyms. Which basically means that he had access to a lot of young girls. As a doctor, you think like...
Yeah. Like, they didn't know anything about it. Like, they thought he was a doctor, he was respected by everyone. So like,
and that's the thing,
right?
When you're a girl, like, and the athletes. So before I get into it, like, I will try to say like why it's like not a shock, but like a shock to a lot of people. So as a doctor, what Tala was saying, like, he, like, a lot of the girls were like, oh well, like, he knows what he's doing. And also, like, when you're an athlete, you're very used to like adults like handling your body, saying like, no, you have to do like the pike, you should do it like this. No, but like the Amanar, you should like they will touch like their legs, they will touch like all their bodies. So like they're really used to like touch. Another thing about this is that he was like, in like gymnastics, the coaches are really strict with like the athletes, especially like the ones in the Olympic team and the national team. he was like the guardian angel of all these girls because he was the nice guy. He was giving them gifts. He was making them feel like safe, feel comfortable. If they were injured, he will say like, don't worry, you're gonna be fine in 5 days, because gymnastics is the life of these girls. They all they want to do for over 14, 15, 16 years of their life is go to the Olympics. So one little injury could like hurt them so much. And that's what we go back to what happened. So when this man was in sessions with the girls that were probably every single day, girls come into his like room, he sexually abused them, he touched them where he shouldn't have. And the thing is that parents were in the rooms. He did it in such a way that parents were not able to see. And even though girls could feel really uncomfortable about what this man was doing and could feel that something was wrong, well, like their parents were there and their parents were not saying anything. And after the sessions, they were feeling kind of better. This man went so far that he even took gymnasts to his basement to have sessions. And it was normal around Michigan State. He abused a lot of women, a lot of girls. And actually the first time someone talked about it and someone put alarms, the little girl was like, hey, so like this guy's doing something, was in 1997. And this man was only put to jail until 2017 or 2018, I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
So, and there are actually 17 events of reporting until the final event of reporting. And I think the worst part about this is that, so I don't know about like how much you know about gymnastics, but so one of the most important gymnasts of all time is Nadia Comaneci. She was the first woman to score a perfect 10. She was from, I forgot the country, Romania. And her trainers, her coaches were Marta and Bella Caroli. And they're like, and then after a lot of years, they went to the States to train. And their training were so intense, like literally they will put the athletes to like streams, and they had a ranch in the middle of nowhere. They had a ranch with girls would come in for almost 1 to 2 months to just train. The only thing they did there was train. And the only good person that was treating them there, it was actually Larry Nasser. Larry Nasser had like these girls for over 1 to 2 months, all by themselves for basically him.
In a ranch.
In the ranch. So like that while they were training, they will also have to go to like medical like things. And like the girls say like the fact like they're like, you know, like you're like, I don't know, you did like a lot of jumps in the air, and they were like, oh, like now my leg is aching, so they had to go there. Or for like, just because you're an athlete, you always have to go to like medical aid. And he was
medical checkups and stuff.
Yeah, he was the Olympic team doctor, the U.S. National Olympic team doctor. What happened with this man?
But,
like, go.
No, I was just gonna ask the two girls that you said trained the girl from Romania. How do they relate to
I'm just
him?
saying because like she doesn't relate, but she like just it was about like the coaches, like that's like the coaches of this girl, like probably one of the best coaches like in the whole world. They were probably like helping this man abuse over 200 girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like they just give access to him. And like one thing that's like written in the like gymnastics code is that there's not a possibility for only the doctor to be with the gymnast. That in the ranch, it was always just Larry with the gymnast.
Yeah.
Of course, they were like isolated from everyone, right? So who would say anything?
Exactly. Like for weekly appointments, because they're athletes and they need to be
and check up.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that it was not something that like it was not talked about. Like all the girls in the team.
Simone Biles and Amy, I don't know what's her name, and a lot of like very well-known U.S. gymnasts like spoke up.
Yeah,
like,
that's
and they were like, having a
Simone didn't go to the trial, but I forgot her name. Ali Raisman. She was the.
That's what I mean.
Ali. Ali. So that's what I was gonna like lead into. So it was like something that all the athletes like talked about until one girl like actually like leading into 2016 Rio Olympics. she like voiced, she reported. And because she reported, like, if you want, you can see like the documentary called Athlete A. It's on Netflix. It's like basically based on this girl. She reported, and because of that, it said that that's why she didn't go to the 2016 Rio Olympics, even if she scored more than girls that went to the Olympics in 2016. After she reported, and after the 2016 Olympics, more and more athletes started to come out and to say this, such as like Ellie Raceman. And Ellie Raceman, she's a two-time Olympic, she went to two Olympic Games in 2012, 2016. She won a lot of like medals in both, and she was like the mom of the team. She won, she went to the trial. Simone Biles, which is basically the GOAT of the Olympic Games. I'm so excited to see her.
Sure, me too.
So crazy for gymnastics. She's literally like in a league of her own, and she's being underscored. I could talk about like Simone Biles like a whole episode. But
question,
like,
did she have relation to the to this doctor as well?
Yeah.
Simon did.
Simone. Simone like said about it. She's like, she won 4 gold medals and a bronze medal in her first Olympic Games, and she's coming back to in Tokyo for more because she just wants to. She can. So like, a lot of athletes went for this, and like, I think one of the most important things that I remember that like Simone said, and like now with like all of the things that are happening like in like the Olympic committee, like you just like say that you're taking care of your athletes, but like it took you for over 20 years to send this man to jail. Be like, I think I saw like Simone was crying. She was like, you had one job, and your one job is to protect your athletes, and you didn't do your job. You just let this man go over and over and over. And like in trial, which is like, I don't recommend seeing it because it's too brutal, because like it's too intense. But like he just pleads to the, he writes a speech, and he goes to the I forgot the name, but like in the trial, he gives a speech, and he's like, well, like actually, like I'm so sorry, but like I'm not really. So yeah, so that's gymnastics Olympic Games. That's like my controversy on it. Is just people don't protect gymnasts, and they should. And like their gymnastics is one of the things that gives more money to the US, because a lot of people from all over the world go to the US to train. A lot of people watch the Olympic Games because of gymnastics. Like what I tell you, Simone Biles right now, she has 3 like things, like 3 movements in gymnastics named after her. Like she's just so crazy, and like people like all over the world are talking about her. People all over the world like so excited to see her for like this new events. But like you couldn't protect her, you couldn't protect your best athlete from a man that was abusing of her for over and over and over again. So yeah, and that's my 2 cents on gymnastics.
This girl that you said, she spoke up, right? And she spoke up, and she was like dismissed from the team from going to the Olympics. Was it because this man that she spoke up against, was he still in the team even after all these allegations? And
so 2016,
how is he not dismissed the moment someone
he should have been dismissed in 1997?
Exactly. How was he not dismissed the moment one person spoke up?
Everyone loved him. And that's the thing. So that's like everyone loved him. Like I would like, if you want, like I can put like some documentaries that you see about it. I've seen a couple.
I want to watch that one you said.
You should see Athlete A's more things like on the athletes, but there's another one. There's one that's called Defying Gravity, that's like about Tokyo 2020-21. And there's another one that I saw last weekend, but I don't remember the name. Anyway, so that was my first controversy, and I have the second one, but it's like not a lot of controversy, but it's like to lead, like a topic to lead on. So I'm gonna talk about this amazing woman and how I met this woman. So I was on my plane flight, and I needed a movie to see that I wanted to sleep to, and I ended up loving it. And it's called Leap. Did I buy so much Chinese propaganda? Yes, I did. So this movie is about Lang Ping. Her like artistic name, she's known as the Iron Hammer. She is a volleyball player. She's a volleyball player now. She's a volleyball coach. The thing about her, and I think now we can lead a little bit more in like the politics of the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So for a lot of years, China was like out of like the world. Let's say like China was like there, but like it was not really interacting with a lot of countries until the Olympic Games in 1984. And they wanted to come back with a bang, and they certainly did, thanks to Lang Ping, which is probably one of the best athletes ever to spike. She does like crazy jumps, and she basically became a Chinese icon. She got a lot of goals. Like that year, coming back for China, they got a lot of goals, and they reestablished China as one of the best countries for sports. Fast forward, she moved to the US, and then she ended up coaching the US team. And then the Beijing Olympics in 2008, she went back to China as the coach for the US. Thing is that she had to compete with China with the US team, and the US might have or might have not won against China while they were in Beijing. So she was named a traitor against her own country because she had a job for another country. She stopped coaching gymnastics. She started coaching volleyball for a lot of time because of this controversy, because she was called a traitor after she was basically the icon of like everyone in China. Until 2013, when she started coaching volleyball in China, and now she took China as a coach to win Rio. They won gold for volleyball. And the thing about it, and I think a lot about this woman, and the movie that I saw is called Leap. And the thing about it is that she has like been an icon for this country, but also she's been, at least for me, she's also like a real like important like figure for politics in the country, because she was a traitor, but she was also their pride and joy. And also the way she's training now in China is like, I don't know if you know this, but like in China, if like you show signs that you're good at a sport at a young age, they will take you to train for like the rest of your life. She's one of the people that like has moved forward that ideal. So like I think because of her, like China has reestablished themselves in the politics world and like as a world power. Obviously, economics has a lot to do with it. But like when we talk about the Olympic Games, it's like also stage for you to see the different countries. So like if you see a country that's putting so much money into sports, like that gives you like a little sense of it. So yeah, that's about Lang Ping. It's not a lot of things, but like I think it was really fascinating learning about her while I was trying to sleep in the airplane.
You didn't sleep, did you? No
I
sleeping.
I didn't. I was like, I should see a movie with subtitles so I can sleep. I didn't. So now that we're talking about geopolitics, I will hand it to Tala. Go.
Yeah.
What?
She's got a lot to say. She's got a lot to say about politics, right, Tala? I mean,
I'm just gonna do a shortcut because we don't have much time.
But you're gonna cover some politics, right now that you're passionate about.
There has been an Israeli boycott, basically. Like throughout the Olympic Games, Israeli athletes kind of have been, barred from some competitions. Even though they do take part of the Olympic Games, a lot of Arab athletes and competitors around the Middle East refuse to play against them, play against Israeli athletes in support of the Palestinian cause and liberation, and against the occupation, apartheid, and all of Israelis' war crimes against Palestinians. But in one example goes for Iran, which is, Israel's biggest threat. They literally forbade their athletes to not compete against Israelis. Like if they come, like it's not allowed in Iranian athletes in the Olympic Games, because obviously Iran and Israel are kind of in a very geopolitical war. It goes deep into that. We'll talk about it in another episode, but and I remember Cata said this before starting the episode, like each Olympic Games, they always have what is it called?
They do a minute of silence.
Minute of silence for one thing, and they also do it for Israelis who have been kidnapped or like killed which is interesting because I've never really heard of that. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you think it's fair? Do you think it's too much? Yeah.
So Cata,
So-
you did
so what I
say
heard-
you
so,
heard
like,
about this.
I did a search.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I didn't search much, but like while it was like 5 a.m. and I saw the Olympic Games this morning, what they said is that in one Olympic Games, I don't remember which year, some Israeli athletes were kidnapped and then killed. And because of that, and because like all of the boycotts that have happened all over the years and like all of the bad things that have happened, but specifically this event, they always have a minute of silence because like they are like seen as they died doing what they loved. They went to like whatever country, whatever city because of that. I think we would have to research more about it, but I thought it was really interesting because like I do understand like that like it's needed like in some ways, like if you die because of sports, like if you die like unfair, like on like an event as important as the Olympic Games, like you should do it. But I feel that there are like a lot of worth, like I think like I don't understand why we keep doing it so like after so many years. Like this year they added COVID to it, but I don't know, like I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, and now that you talk about like boycotts, like the Olympic Games have always been really political.
I mean, I understand the boycott.
No, yeah.
If I was the killing,
but like
the kidnapping, obviously not, but like the boycott, because I personally I'm boycotting Israeli products, so I wouldn't, if I was a competitor or I was an athlete, I wouldn't really want to compete against an Israeli. Like I would feel very uncomfortable, and I just wouldn't feel like I have the need to compete against them, you know. I guess it's just like in support of the Palestinian liberation movement and what we've been kind of suffering for years.
Yeah, but I have a question on that.
Has been like trying to like
erase our heritage. Wouldn't it be better just to win to them?
I mean, true, yeah, for sure, but it's not.
I've thought about that.
It's not about,
because like then you're just letting them win.
You know, but it's not.
If you boycott, if you boycott, if you don't play, they will win.
That's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, what, since they don't acknowledge us, that since they don't acknowledge our rights, since they don't acknowledge our basic human tendency to live on our land, why should I acknowledge to like play with them? Cata speaking Spanish.
Cata, you're speaking Spanish and we're all hearing it.
But yeah, like why would I have like the acknowledgement to play against them? Like I don't have to
you're kind of like not acknowledging them back in a way,
because we've been treated like that for years.
You
know, I saw one, and we're going to talk more about this in another episode about the Palestinian Israel situation, the whole situation. But you know, there was a joke that said, you know, in Arab culture, when you meet a Palestinian, they're never gonna let you forget that they're Palestinian. And why is this? It goes deeper than that. It's not only just a joke, because we've been, for years, Israel has been erasing our heritage, our culture, our everything about us, and trying to erase our history. And so that's why when you meet a Palestinian, they're not gonna let you forget that they're a Palestinian, because we need to show for a fact that we exist and that we have a land. And the same goes with this like boycott. It's just like, we're not going to acknowledge you if you don't acknowledge us, you know?
I mean, it does
you if you don't respect us.
Exactly. It makes sense.
That, you know, so I'm for sure, like, you know, you could win, you could play against them, whatever. You know, like it's just a game. You could, you know, just let it past you. But I feel like it goes deeper than that. And I mean, I don't see the problem with them boycotting against Israeli athletes.
No,
you know,
not at all. I think the gesture they're doing, it makes a lot of sense, because then if you lead to winning, it could be seen as we said, as, oh, we're winning, we're not letting them win. But the fact that you play in the first place means like you're acknowledging them, but they wouldn't acknowledge you. Like if they win against you, they'll be like, oh, we won against Palestine. But if they lose against you, they'll be like, no, we didn't lose, because actually they don't exist. Like they will always have that argument with you. So actually kind of like just being like, okay, you don't acknowledge me, I won't either. I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna like get into this game for you to like be the one carrying the narrative is like a really brave thing to do. And it's like these athletes, their life is their purpose and their careers is a sport. And the fact that because of their country and because of their love for Palestine and the Palestinian cause, they would go and be like, I don't care if I like lose because I don't play. I just want to like make a statement with my action. That is something admirable. So it's beautiful, and it really shows the commitment of the athletes with what the country they are represented.
Exactly.
They are a nation.
I remember, what's his name? Colin Kaepernick. I forgot his name. The one who kneeled. He plays American football, and he kneeled when they were when the national anthem of the United States was playing, and he got so much love. But that alone made a statement, you know, for the Black Lives Matter movement, to show that Black people are still being marginalized, Black people are still being discriminated against, Black people are still being silent, being killed.
It makes it to the news. It makes it to the news as well.
Yeah,
like,
on that note,
even though he lost his spot in the NBA,
I was gonna say
he was everywhere. He was everywhere.
Exactly. He lost his spot. He was completely trashed. But
he made a statement. About that,
he made it for himself,
about kneeling,
for his people, and for basic human rights, basically. And I don't feel like that's a problem at all. Like I
no, it's not
so much, and I respect that with Arabs who boycott Israel. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, Cata, what were you saying?
Yeah, about kneeling and protesting. Then about kneeling and protesting. So actually, Tokyo 2020 games are the first time ever that athletes are allowed to protest. So if you kneel during the national anthem, they will not say anything. If you wear an attire or if you do something, they will not say anything. It's like legal for you to protest. And I think it's a step forward, and I think it's really nice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure. Kind of it gives it a new level of freedom of expression to the athletes and to what they want to say. I think that's really good. And especially this year with everything that we've had, I think we need it. So I'm glad. And when it comes to what you were saying about like the moment of silence for Israelis, I guess I would have to like do some research, but I do wonder if, I mean, of course, whatever happened to those people is like not justifiable, but
yeah, for sure.
I want to think like, has this been the only time that something like this has happened? I'm kind of wondering, like, have we had any other athlete?
I know there was a massacre in Montreal, but I know
do we have a
minute
minute?
In Montreal, 19 something.
And do we have a minute of silence?
We have a minute for massacre.
Yeah. No, so I mean, do we have a minute of silence for that? You know, if it's the only thing that's happened, these athletes died because of a political issue, but do what they were doing, and because of their love for sport and this being their career. Of course, it was unfair. It was unjustifiable, and I understand there's a minute of silence, despite the fact that I do not agree, and from the VN Talks, we do not agree with what Israel is doing at all. Yeah. But of course, we do understand why they would arrange that for them, because they died in the Olympics. But what I would like to know, and I would have to research on, is do they do the same for another massacre, for other people that died in the same situation, for athletes that have died even practicing the sport in the Olympics, you know? That's what I would like to know, so I could like assess this.
I just Googled, and it says near the start, a moment of silence was taken for those who died during the pandemic, as well for the members of the Israeli Olympic team who were murdered during the Munich Games of 1972. And it says that Israeli Olympic team members killed by Palestinian gunmen at the 1972, and it was 49 years ago. It was 11 victims.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's it. That's all.
That's crazy.
That's all I researched.
That's obviously not justified whatsoever. I don't agree with
course.
I don't agree with any killing
Yeah.
whatsoever. But I feel like with the boycott, it's just like I'm not going to play against the oppressor, if that makes sense, you know?
Of course.
Like
Yeah.
for any if you guys like if Cata, for example, like you yeah, you're very nationalistic about Colombia and you know, very proud Colombian as you should. But if you played against in the Olympic Games against your oppressor, like any, it could hypothetically be any country. Would you like it? Just
Your former colonizers.
your former colonizers, but I mean like people, the countries who have now who still continue
Yeah.
somehow oppress you, or it could be even hypothetically. I'm not even talking about the Olympic Games. It's just in general, like the bigger picture, like you know, your corrupt government. You know, it goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, I understand. It's just like I think boycotts are not a Colombian thing. We just like fight it over. Like it's like no, like I'm being honest. Like I think like if we like had to like fight the oppressor and stuff, like I don't think that like we would like boycott. Like I'm being really honest. Like I think
yeah.
probably something totally different would happen.
Yeah.
But I understand why like people do it. I'm just like saying like hypothetically,
But it would still
Colombia would not boycott.
But it would be whatever you guys did, it would be in the same way Palestinian athletes do. It would be a
It will
statement.
be political.
Whatever it is, it
Yeah.
would be a statement to let people know,
Yeah.
like, this is happening. We make it to the news so you see this is the reality we are living and why we're doing this.
Because the whole world is kind of against Palestine and Palestinians. Like the whole world is with Israel and Zionism, and it's like this is the only thing we can kind of do to make a stance and support the cause. Really, like
raise awareness.
Raising awareness. That's literally the only power we have. Like the United States of America, the strongest government in the world, really is with Israel. Is Israel's biggest ally. So what power do we really have other than just making statements and not acknowledging the oppressor, if that makes sense? But yeah, I feel like I can relate to why
yes, that's true.
Competitors have played against, or like who have refused to play against Israeli athletes. If I was in a a competitor in the Olympic Games, I wouldn't really want to play against Israeli athletes. I mean, I guess this is personally for me. I'm not saying all Palestinians or Arabs are like me, but since I have seen, since I'm me as a Palestinian, I've seen everything, who's been raised with the Palestinian cause. Of course, I have to think like this, and I'm proud to think like this, because I don't want to have that acknowledgement for a country that has oppressed us since the beginning of time, so it makes sense. But anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this political statement I think this political statement just relates so much to what has been going on this year, what is clearly going to be a topic of discussion this Olympics, and something that really relates to us in the sense of not only just Tala being Palestinian and us supporting the Palestinian cause, but just us as IR students, and we really have a lot to say when it comes to politics, and we really like expressing our opinions and literally being able to see that out of the Olympics, we could get into the Palestinian cause, we could get into feminism and gender equality, we could talk about the controversies about the sexual assault. It's crazy how much we could get out of this topic, and I think this kind of political statement is, and you can say it, Cata, it is a good thing to end this episode, right? We can end it out with this a statement from Tala and the Palestinian cause, and move on till we see you in the next episode.
Thank you guys for watching or listening.
Thank you for seeing. Thank you for watching. Remember to follow us on our social media and email us. And I was just gonna say, hope you see the Olympic Games. Hope your favorites win.
Yeah, and we have a newsletter. Please, Cata, sign up to the newsletter. Please, you're the host. Please sign up to the newsletter.
Literally, if you're the host,
and watch the Olympics.
I will.
Yeah, that's what you said.
And if you have any juicy Olympic controversies in tea, you can DM us about it. We would love to share our stories in our Instagram stories.
We want to know. Yeah, please.
We love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Bye.